इससे पहले कि आप बाकी क्लिप देखो बॉस, प्रेस द सब्सक्राइब बटन, प्रेस द बेल आइकॉन, बिकॉज हम यहाँ पे हमारी कॉन्वर्सेशंस के सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग, पावरफुल, फनी और यूनिक मोमेंट्स यहाँ शेयर करते हैं. PGX क्लिप्स, प्रेस सब्सक्राइब, प्रेस बेल आइकॉन.
And I got lucky that at the time I was part of something called Emergent Ventures in the US. So Emergent Ventures is a program started by Tyler Cowen, a more reputed economist.
George Mason.
George Mason, right?
I love him.
Yes,
He's
Tyler's
so smart.
Pran wouldn't exist without Tyler.
Really?
If he
Are
would have
you in
gone
touch?
bankrupt, I know him very well.
Dude, you have to put me in touch.
Okay.
Tyler Cowen, for people that do not know, I'm a huge fan, so just
Yeah.
let me. Tyler Cowen's an economist at George Mason University. He runs his podcast also, Conversations with Tyler, which is where I discovered him. I actually discovered him on Eric's podcast called The Portal. And Tyler speaks with the pragmatism of an economist in its true spirit.
Yeah.
Like, there is no fluff, there is no emotional like when he talks about a subject, I realize how many emotional barriers I had around that issue to not see the problem clearly. He's a fucking genius if there is one.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to verbally communicating what he thinks. Hands down. Anyway.
So many times he's, in fact, like I think this was in 2023. He got me to Arlington where he runs his EV conference every year, and he was very kind late night. Him and Dr. Shruti Rajgopalan, who runs Emergent Ventures India, spent so much time thinking about Pran and isolated, right? This is like priceless, the kind of like detailed thinking, because I'll get into some of the venture stuff. But so basically Tyler gave us one grant earlier, which helped keep us afloat. Then he gave us a second grant when this venture capital failure happened, that hey, the company just needs to be alive. And then he wrote 3 emails. I can't go into like all 3 like Silicon Valley titans, right?
Like Elon.
No, I mean, he's an entrepreneur. I'm saying investor titans, right?
Like Peter Thiel.
Right.
But you can't say that.
Yeah. So he wrote to, of course, like I think Peter's fund, Mark Andreessen, and then Social Impact Capital, who actually led around. And turns out these people are LPs in Social Impact Capital that invested. So Social Impact Capital spoke with us, I think on 2 15-minute calls. There was an offer to lead our round.
Wow.
18 months I couldn't raise capital in India. A person who's never been to India and just spoke to us twice offered us the money.
Isn't it interesting that people who are surrounded by the problem cannot, like, are there any other, maybe your startup, maybe your way of solving the pollution problem is too radical.
Yeah.
And so maybe there are other startups that these VCs are probably happy investing in because that would solve the problem in a safer way, something they understand that fits their risk appetite. Are there any other?
Yes, there are people who are like putting a fan below a plant and then calling it an air purifier. Then there's somebody who is buying filters from Faridabad and also from China and putting it on top of ACs, right? And saying the AC is an air purifier now. And then there are people who are importing purifiers from China, rebranding it and selling it in India. So this is a more fathomable business for a venture capitalist, traditional Indian venture.
But this is a trading business.
This is a trading business. So, but even for our company Pran, while we started with something crazy radical, we took this technology into very real world use cases. So our filterless tech we put onto industry shop floors, right? So we serve like for
like
confidentiality
factories.
reasons, I can't name the companies, but like the largest pigment company, cosmetic chemicals, like the chocolates that we eat, in all those shop floors our machines are installed, right? Like hazardous agrochemical materials, right? We prevent them from going outside. We capture it and put it back. Steel companies, cement,
right.
All of these are huge pollution sources for the city. Our devices are deployed on the shop floor. Not only do they reduce the pollution, that material goes back into the production line.
Oh, so you gather that material?
Yes.
You don't filter it out. You filter it and keep it.
We
somehow.
filter it, collect it, and they can just open the drawer and dump the material back into the production process. So there's also a material reduction. There's an ROI on the because they're saving like tons of material, literally like tons, right? And it's tons daily. In one of the applications in the pigment company, I think per kg of material is 7,000 rupees. In a day per point, we recover 40 kgs for them.
Wait, explain that to me. Per kg of material is?
To them,
is 7,000.
Is 7,000. So in a day, at each of the points where my machine is deployed, we recover 40 kgs for them.
Whoa.
So there's an ROI on the machine. Now, how can you tell me there's no venture model or this is not a business? And there's like, of course, positive unit economics, like considerable positive unit economics. There's a recurring element because there's a SaaS element to the whole piece, right? If you can't fathom this, I don't know, like then you're not the right person to talk to.
Look, I'm pretty sure people sitting in shiny VC offices are very smart, very accomplished people.
Yes.
Some of them been entrepreneurs themselves. Some of them have built up and then moved into VC. Some of them probably trained in VC over a long period of time. They've seen life more than you and I have seen. And I still can parallelly imagine a circumstance where, bro, you're a unicorn. In my line of business also, to find somebody who's doing something truly innovative in this country, boss, go check out the whiteboards outside. It's filled with names we cross out every day because we're like, मैं क्या बात करूँगा? Like, there's nothing new. It's like I'm finding a TikTok copy founder. Like, a lot of businesses in tech in India are either convenience businesses because we're a convenience economy. We love staying in our castles that we build for ourselves where everything is beautiful and things come into us, or are in fintech, which is another form of convenience in a certain way because banks can be banks. There's very rarely novel businesses that spring out of India. There are novel challenges in India, and that was my question. जिस आदमी के ऑफिस के बाहर की हवा खराब है वो बेट नहीं कर रहा. सिलिकॉन वैली में तो मस्त है, कोई हवा का इतना इशू नहीं है ब्रो. लाइक यू नो इट्स अ ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस टू बी. They are betting. That's very odd.
Yeah, and when I'm aligned with it, it's not that Pran doesn't get offers from these VCs. Let's be honest. We don't get from everybody, but we get from some of the better ones in the country. But the terms, like, we're still a Silicon Valley company. We started in the US. Our core team was in the US. We did this crazy R&D, which otherwise would cost $50 million to bring to market. We killed ourselves to do it in $2 million, right? And still get it working and get product market fit and a scaling business built out of it, right? So you can't say that because it's an India thing, I will underprice it. And that's not fair because that's like you're pricing it as an India company, even though it's a global company. Like we have projects in Dubai and US, man. I can't price it as a India. It's a larger than India story, right? So that's on the venture fund. But I think the exciting part of what we ended up building is, sure, we built the industrial business. But then in the industrial business as well, if you look at how all of us are, I was telling you before this podcast, right, we are from a very scarcity mindset. In fact, our friend Varun, who was in my office a few weeks ago, right, Varun Maya, he said, dude, when I read about Pran, I thought it's too good to be true. I thought you're a Chinese drop shipping company. So I had to come and see it.
That's what I told you.
Right.
I was like, ये वो सस्ते में clean कर रहा होगा हवा की, मतलब polythene का wrapper लगा दिया, because that's as far as my imagination for a co-patriot doing something innovative goes. कि सस्ता रॉकेट बनाया होगा इसने.
No, we're not cheap at all. In fact, people complain about our cost structure for some of the products because we also have a consumer product now, which is medical grade filtration, etc. Highest performance in its category in the industry. Everyone talks to me about price tag. I said, you'll pay 3 times this price for the Swiss product, which does less than half of what our device does. But you have a complaint on this 50,000 rupee thing. I was like, you don't buy it. But what happens is when I say don't buy it, they end up buying one and they like it enough where I've seen customers buy it 12, 15 times. I think that's if you go to Hive.
This is yours?
Yeah, if you go up. So this is Hive. This is our indoor air purification system.
And how much is this for?
This is 55,000.
55,000.
Yeah.
And do I need any maintenance on this? Is there a yearly charge to it?
No, once you need it, we're not going to be the people who'll call you and say, buy the filter. You'll see your usage and you can see it in real time, the filter degrading. So in winter, you'll see that, hey, because my start values were in thousands, my filter's running out in 4 months. But like for my Hive, I got my Hive delivered in January 2024. The first time we serviced it was February 25.
So almost, you said January 24 and February
13 months.
And this in Bombay?
Bombay.
This is Bombay Air 180, 200?
Yes,
right.
yes. And I use it every single day. And
Every single day.
Single day. And there's a huge health platform built around it where it's addictive. So we delivered it to this like old couple in Gujarat recently. They were fascinated. My guy couldn't leave their house because there's an AR feature on the app where you can see the pollution in your room. The data is coming from the product, but no one knows what 200 ppm means. You can just open the app and see it floating around you. And so suddenly that auntie was like, this is insane. She went to every room of her house and was playing around with the app and trying to... So the fact that a lot of the stuff that Hive has done is first of its kind in the industry. How do you make this Apple-esque product in India?
You said Apple-esque.
Apple-esque.
In the design part of it.
Not just design. How do you manufacture it's a MacBook like finish, right? No one's doing this like in India. So
how are you?
We had to set the process. So what about the intellectual property and the R&D and the cost that goes into producing something like this? We couldn't go to a vendor and give him aluminum and say, make it look like this Mac. No one has a clue how to do it. And we're producing all this in Bombay with 90% of raw material sourced locally in India. We import semiconductors and sensors.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
But I want to understand. You said you don't do filtered, like your whole IP is non-filtered.
So if you go to an industrial product that has no filter,
That's non-filtered.
because it's a big system and it deals with very high pollution loads, right? Like in the steel factory you work with, it's 1 lakh the
PPMs,
ppm,
right?
right? So that's very high. Now for indoor space, your product has to be really tiny. This is how large the hive is. You want high clean air delivery rate because you want to feel the difference. If you don't feel it, you'll say it's not working.
Right.
Which means I have to make it run like a horse, right?
So it has to sound.
It should not sound, just the speed at which sound, in fact, will people not buy it saying it's loud.
Acha.
So it has to be quiet.
Huh.
It has to purify air at a crazy fast pace. It has to do it with the highest efficacy so people can trust it. That's why we use medical grade filtration, same stuff used in hospitals and some surgical rooms as well. And then to put it in a tiny form factor. So there's a physics limitation on the filterless tech that if I want the home system to be filterless, it'll be much larger in size because I'm trying to separate very fine particles with very high efficiency very quickly.
Guys, trust me, I cannot give you the beauty of this conversation in just this one clip. If you like this clip, then you have to go to our main channel and subscribe to it and press the bell icon because we post some amazing conversations for you on that channel.